I'm no sort of chef or anything like that, but when you meal prep your protein, it's pretty easy to make other recipes out of it. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Thank you guys again for tuning on in. Be sure to stay tuned to the very end so that you don't miss out on any of this awesome content. I'm gonna show you guys how I prep all my meals as far as protein goes for the entire week, and we're gonna get right into it. So, as you guys can see, I'm starting off by getting some chicken breasts ready. So my 3 protein sources this week are chicken breasts, chicken thighs, and then I have a little bit of shrimp that I'm cooking up. I am just prepping just a little bit. I actually like to meal prep twice throughout the week, just because I notice that oftentimes when I meal prep for the entire week, I sometimes discard some of the food because it's a little bit older, and I don't know, sometimes it just doesn't seem like it tastes as well or it's not as fresh. Again, starting off with some chicken breasts. So the first thing I like to do when I get into it is I like to make sure that I cut off all the fat. Now this is 99% lean chicken breast, but even with that, it still has a little bit of fat on it. So I just try to cut that out and really get rid of it so that I can have almost a pure protein source. Now the chicken breast itself probably has a tiny bit of fat in it, but I don't want even any of that extra stuff, so I just go ahead and I really get to it. I really wanted to make sure that I cut up a lot of this chicken breast. I didn't actually have too much. I'm actually doing a grocery haul later this week. That should be pretty fun, and stay tuned for that. I wanted to make sure that I still had some protein cooking, and again, like I said, halfway through the week, I plan on doing that grocery haul as well as making more protein sources to get me through the rest of the week. Right here, that chicken breast, I really wanted to make sure I cut it up finely. Now, don't judge me. I'm no sort of chef or anything like that. So I just really like to make sure that it's in bite-sized pieces so I don't have to worry about trying to chew a whole lot of chicken in one big bite. It makes it easier for when I set up things like my chicken and rice meals, my chicken and potatoes, things like that. I'm just, again, if you saw my last video, sometimes I'm a plain Jane when it comes to some of my meals, but I really enjoy these. So the next thing I actually decided to get ready was some chicken thighs. Now the chicken thighs are very similar to the chicken breasts as far as the way I treat them. I really try to cut off as much fat as possible. Now the dilemma right here is chicken thighs in and of themselves have more fat than chicken breasts. It was really difficult. I had to like really get in there with the scissors. I had to make sure that I got almost all the excess fat that I could see off the chicken thighs, and then from there I just tried to push it to the side as much as possible. And unfortunately, because I didn't have too many chicken thighs, or honestly when I was making this I should have probably prepped just a little bit more, but I was trying to get something done pretty quick and off to you guys so you can use this in the future if you're thinking about different protein sources to make and how you can actually break that down. So the chicken thighs are gonna have more fat, again, like I mentioned, than the chicken breast. Just depending on how I'm feeling that day, maybe I've not used some of my fat macros earlier in the day, and maybe I want to use them for like lunch and dinner. That's where those chicken thighs will come in more so than the chicken breast. Again, I really tried to dig in there deep and get all the little bits of fat out. And as you guys can see, I'm using the same cutting board, so I like to try to section my types of foods near one another. I don't know, maybe I'm just a little weird like that. I wanted to have all my chicken in the same spot, and that way it would be ready to go to throw it in the air fryer. Quick, easy, done. Yeah, I could keep going with my meal prep. So both of these, I really like to use just a little bit of cooking oil spray to lather them down before I throw them into the air fryer. I used to just take my chicken breasts and my chicken thighs, and I used to coat my air fryer with cooking oil spray, and then I would throw them in there. I read something recently where it said instead of actually coating the actual air fryer tray, it might be best to actually coat the meat or whatever you're planning on cooking with cooking oil spray, so that way it doesn't actually stick to the air fryer and it preserves the longevity of the air fryer in the long run. I'm currently on my air fryer number 3, so yeah, making sure that I preserve my air fryer is something I definitely want to do. If you guys haven't already, check out the Ninja air fryer. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Kaylee and I, we got it back in September, right after one of our first few shows of the season, and I tell you, this thing is like indestructible. So Ninja's air fryer is definitely one I would recommend. So from there, like I said, I like to prepare certain foods that are similar to one another and leave them off to the side. I sprayed it down with a little bit of cooking oil spray, and as you guys can see, I'm putting my chicken breast in first. The reason I'm putting my chicken breast in first is because I have a lot of it, and I want to make sure that I'm not wasting any time. So I'm going to be efficient, get all the big stuff out of the way right away, and then I'll tend to the little stuff, which in this case is going to be my chicken thighs. While that's all getting ready, I'm going to go ahead and hop into my final protein source, which is shrimp. So I really love eating shrimp, not just because of the taste of it, but also because of the macros that are in the shrimp. So for this shrimp, it actually has 0 fat. Now, depending on the shrimp that you buy, some of them have a tiny bit of fat, some of them don't. Unfortunately, I am using farm-raised shrimp, but I got a theory about this. So my idea behind farm-raised shrimp, I'm actually gonna go over in my grocery haul, so make sure you guys tune into that so that you don't miss out on that as well. So, farm-raised shrimp, I'm going ahead, tossing it into a frying pan. This is actually super simple. All I'm adding to it is just a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of salt, and then some garlic powder. And that's pretty much it. I just called it a day, and I let that shrimp just kind of sizzle. It's already cooked, so I just let it sizzle, get to a nice boil, melted off all the frozen parts of the shrimp, and I allowed it to fully cook. And then once it cooked, I mean, this thing is so daggone simple. If you're not eating shrimp and you're looking for a good protein source and you like shrimp, definitely check it out. This is one of the easiest ways to prepare meat for the entire week and get those protein sources in. So once I went ahead and got the shrimp to de-thaw, and it actually cooked all the way through, honestly, I just went ahead and dumped it into a strainer, got all the excess water out, and then I just set it aside. My shrimp's already ready, my chicken's cooking, and now that my chicken is getting closer towards the end, I like to check it midway through, and just to make sure that I have a nice even brown coat going on top of the chicken. Of course, I flip it, make sure that it gets a nice even cook. Sometimes I like to be even more specific and take out a thermometer to make sure that the chicken is at a good temperature. Generally speaking, according to the thermometer that I have, I try to keep my chicken breast right around 160 to about 165 degrees in order to get a nice good cook to it. So once I finished up with that chicken breast, I went ahead and tossed those chicken thighs in there. And again, these are actually really quick. They cooked in less than 12 minutes, which for most chicken preps that I do, it usually takes somewhere between 20 to 25 minutes in the air fryer for my chicken to usually cook all the way through. So I was definitely happy about that. Got all my foods prepared for the week. And actually, I chose to dive into some of this chicken breast for dinner tonight. So yeah, I was really happy. And now the reason that I suggest making your protein early on in the week, and I suggest meal prepping that solely, is because when you meal prep your protein, it's pretty easy to make other recipes out of it. So now that my protein's ready, so I have my chicken breast, my shrimp, and my chicken thighs, I can throw some rice in with it, and I can have chicken and rice, or I can whip up some noodles really quickly in practically no time, and I can have a spaghetti dish. Oftentimes too, I like preparing ground turkey. I usually go for the 99% lean ground turkey just because I prefer adding a little bit more oil to my foods rather than getting some of the more fatty foods. Now, they're not bad if you get like a 93.7 or even a 90.10 turkey breast if you have the macros for it, if you track macros, which I highly recommend you do. Again, I was gonna do a grocery haul later this week, so I didn't have any turkey on hand and didn't really worry about it. I got the essentials in that I needed for today and the earlier part of this week. Like I mentioned, it's so easy to take those different foods and melt them into other meals if you already have your protein sources prepared, and adding carbs, adding fat to things takes practically no time. Rice, noodles, bread, all those types of things make for really easy and quick meals. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys and maybe aids in your preparation for trying to get protein ready for the week. If you don't already prepare your protein sources like this, maybe this will inspire you to start to do so that way you can make quick, easy meals and keep your protein intake high. As you guys know, I'm team protein, team high protein intake, just because it helps support that lean muscle mass, it helps build lean muscle tissue in the long run, as well as it's just overall good for us. So thank you guys again for tuning in to another awesome video. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on another tip just like this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.